Twitter suspends conservative journalist Andy Ngo, and here's why. He committed hateful conduct, according to Twitter. You might wonder, what does a journalist, by the way, Andy is a minority. He's Asian American. He's also openly, he's gay. What did Andy Ngo do that was hateful, such that in response to a Chelsea Clinton tweet, white liberal, there we go. In response to a Chelsea Clinton tweet, Twitter would suspend him. Well, Chelsea Clinton tweeted out the following. Since 2013, more than 150 trans people have been murdered in the U.S. The majority are black transgender women, an epidemic of violence and hate. Now, 150 over the course of 6 years, to call that an epidemic in a country of 330 million people would seem to be a bit of a stretch. Right? What is the overall number? What is the overall population, and how much? What is the homicide rate for them versus the homicide rate for black transgender females? It turns out that there is no particularly high rate, but see, you start to ask these questions, and people get angry at you. What are you saying? It's not? No, of course it's a horrible thing that anybody would murder anyone of any gender identity or of any race, anything. It's the most heinous crime out there. You cannot murder people. We're all opposed to murder. But if we're talking about public policy and if we're talking about the numbers, then can't we be honest about it? Andy wrote that the 150 deaths over several years were in a nation of more than 300 million people. That's hardly an epidemic. He said the U.S. is one of the safest countries in the world for trans people. The murder rate of trans victims is actually lower than for the cis population, meaning for the heterosexual population. And he also then tweeted out the following. Also, who is behind a vast majority of these murders of black transgender females, African-American males? Not allowed. By the way, this is statistically, he is correct. This is true. This is a fact. This is not up for debate. In fact, there's only a handful of these 150 murders that Chelsea Clinton, she's going to run for Senate and then president, by the way. Just you heard it here if you haven't heard it somewhere else. Chelsea Clinton, she thinks she should be the leader of the free world because mommy and daddy are famous. And we're politicians, obviously. Dad was president. Mom thought she was going to be president, still does. But 150 murders over the course of 6 years, we're told this is an epidemic. It's not an epidemic. Every single life lost is sad, is wrong, and there should be a full investigation. The perpetrator should be punished. But this is not an epidemic. So Chelsea Clinton has millions of followers. Why is she saying this? Oh, because it's the virtue signaling of look at this particularly oppressed group and how concerned Chelsea Clinton is with this oppressed group. Andy Ngo comes out and says, well, that's actually not a lot of people by the numbers per capita nationwide. It's not. And it's lower than the national average for people being killed in this country outside of any victimized group. And a vast majority of the perpetrators happen to be African-American males, which he just pointed out. That's also true. So the people that are killing these black transgender females are overwhelmingly, and I think was only a handful of exceptions to this, black males. He just shared that. This is data. You can check it out on the FBI website. You can check it out online. This is data. Twitter suspended him for this, for hateful conduct. Why is this hateful? Why is this hateful? We're talking about numbers. We're talking about a public policy issue of importance. Why is the number okay to share and then analyze it, but then or rather other numbers, additional numbers to give context, are not allowed to be shared? Well, my friends, because unfortunately the left has already adopted this position for a long time, and you're going to see more and more of it. Facts can be hateful. Numbers can be hateful. It's whatever they determine. That's what is hateful. Twitter, Facebook, Google, all the different news organizations. They get to decide what is hateful because they get to decide what is speech and what is allowable. We keep getting pushed closer and closer to a society where we no longer really have freedom of speech. We seem to be forgetting this. They tell us we're going to get into, by the way, pronoun usage later on in the show, too. They tell us what we can say about other individuals, and they tell us now the force of law will be used. They're openly advocating for hate crime laws that criminalize speech say the wrong word, and you can go to prison. Journalists who are supposed to live and die by the First Amendment, anything to protect the First Amendment, journalists are saying, yeah, well, except for really hateful stuff. This is the country we are increasingly living in, and I think we are a bit of the boiling frog in the pot here. We are not paying close enough attention to how quickly our rights are eroding on this at all. I hope Andy gets his Twitter account back. I got to check and see. But it's just a matter of time before yours truly gets suspended. You watch.